What is a secret you know about someone that they have no idea you know about? NSFW. I met this cool, funny dude after an audition. We even ate lunch with some other auditioners right afterwards. Had a lot of laughs. Great guy. He's married and told a story. A little while later, I'm getting groceries during the gay pride parade and I step out of the store to see him pass by holding hands with another man. Maybe it was a doppelganger, but there's always going to be a part of me that thinks he's having gay affairs. I know that my boss doesn't stay late at work like his wife and everyone else thinks. I saw him leave work 2 or 3 times before me and decided to follow him. I don't know that I can even type this without feeling terrible. He's been playing MTG at the game shop until 10 PM 3 nights a week. One of my friends likes to dress up as a princess and have tea parties in his backyard, and he dances with cardboard cutouts of Justin Timberlake. My boss banged my mom, but my boss is my dad, so whatever. I still have my old roommate FB account logged in on my iPad, let him borrow it. He left without paying 2 weeks rent and cleaning his room, so I periodically go on, read his message, laugh at his life, and like one page each time I'm there. After snooping on a co-worker's Facebook, I found out his ex-wife is married to his boss. His boss is raising his kid. The guy is an employee, so I assume he only works here so his boss can get that child support. I know a friend who prostitutes secretly. I know this because I saw her going out with the client once in a different city, which I was visiting to pick up used furniture from a Craigslist ad. I know that my brother is into bestiality. After he moved out of our parents' house, I found some old CDs in his room of horses, donkeys, whatever else ducking. There also used to be a horse pasture in front of our house that he would help take care of. He went over there for several hours each day. I don't know for certain, but I think he's ducked a horse or 2. Edit. Great. Now my top comment is about ducking horses. I know my sister is into water sports. She stayed with my family for a few months a while back while her house got worked on and had a slew of gentlemen callers. Well, one day I needed to do a dinky spray, so I knocked on the door to the bathroom. I heard scrambling and shuffling and my sister said, "I'm in here. Come back in a minute." I said I would wait and she flipped her it. So I lied and said I would go away and did a fake foot stomp, and then the door opened and there she was, in a towel smelling of piss with this guy Derek from the city local pop punk band. I thought nothing of it until my best friend died a week and a half ago. When I got home from watching him die in the hospital bed, I hid in the shower to cry since my dad hit me the last few times I cried for not being a man. I had the curtain shut and was just in there silently weeping. Suddenly the door opened and slammed shut and I heard my sister and this guy Dolphin, his name is Alan but they call him Dolphin, removing their clothes and him saying, "Hurry, I'm gonna burst." And she said something like, "Ooh baby, I cannot wait to taste your hot piss." They ripped the curtain open to reveal me, sobbing like a monster in between vape rips. I saw my sister and her lover nude. They screamed. I screamed. I ran out of the house and slept in the garage. A few days later she asked if I heard anything and I said no, I was too busy mourning the loss of the greatest man I ever knew. But I can put 2 and 2 together. My sister likes to get pissed on by random fellas. I know my parents had their friend steal and blow up their Mustang in 1994 for insurance money. They don't think I know. The butcher at my old place of work likes to masturbate with random pieces of meat when he thinks he's alone. My best friend's husband is gay. She knows. It's just him that keeps repressing it like nobody knows and we keep pretending we don't know. Friend of mine is into animated horse porn. My super knee-jerk liberal friend, who gets all bent out of shape at every single violation of political correctness, has Senator Ted Cruz for a brother-in-law. He doesn't want anyone to know, but I know. The executive director of the company I work for is having an affair with his assistant. That married guy that gave me his number last year has a fetish for young, but hopefully legal, Asian girls. Due to some snooping through her browser history, I know that my sister likes incest porn. Luckily it only seems to be straight incest porn, so I'm safe. Disturbed, but safe. Their Reddit Gone Wild account. Not too many people know this, but my friend is the one who let the dogs out. I know my mom and dad were swingers in the 70s. Mom told me when I was a teen. Dad and stepmom have no idea that I know. In 2004 I got my first job at Togo's. A few weeks in one of my co-workers and met up after hours at work. He was selling me a guitar amp. Anywho, after the transaction I noticed a car parked behind Togo's. It was 12 AM and this particular Togo's closed 8 PM Sundays. Seemed odd. Sneaked close enough and saw my boss ducking one of my, at the time, underage co-workers. She was 17 at the time. Boss was in his 40s. My bosses would regularly go into the restaurant with his wife and 2 kids. Piece of it, 6 months later, I was grandfathered into the work drama of this same co-worker having an unwanted pregnancy, which he eventually terminated. She was 18 by now. The boss's wife was also pregnant and he had another child later that year. John L., if you're reading this, you're a piece of it and I know. While my friend was in the war, he had to shoot a small child who was strapped and running towards them. He never told me about it personally, which is why I consider it a secret. But another friend told me and said how emotionally damaging it was for him. I can't imagine carrying that burden of guilt. He doesn't know it, but I grieve for him. My grandpa watches a lot of porn. My co-worker King Dong is clearly sitting on the toilet in his LinkedIn profile pic. We know because there is unique tiles that only can be viewed while you're on the ITER and you can make out a hinge in the photo. It has been unverified if he's wearing pants or not. I was digging through my brother's bedroom nightstand looking for rolling papers and found his stash of Polaroids. It was cool at first. I ogled a few of his ex-GFs and got to see them naked. Then a nude of him appeared. He's got a cock like a horse. Try as I might, I cannot scrub that image from my head. I found out one of my close friends is a full-on furry. I was having to work as banquet staff during a furry convention when I heard a familiar voice behind me asking for more toasted ravioli. I instantly knew the voice but pretended not to know him and just kept working. So fast forward to a week later and I'm picking him up from his place for a party. I called to say I'm up front like most people and got no answer. So I decided to knock and get him rolling. Just as my hand is grabbing the knocker I can hear moaning. That's when I made the dumbest decision to look in the window at the top of the door. Here he is in full furry suit riding a Mandingo sized bright red doggy-shaped dildo. I bolted off that front step like someone was shooting at me. I called him an hour or so from the party and just told him sorry I forgot to pick him up. Still good friends but I will never forget a human-sized blue and electric green husky riding a giant cock in his living room. My uncle got extremely drunk at a family Christmas party 2 years ago and whispered in my ear that my mom and dad had not actually met at a Bible study group like they always told me, but doing mushrooms at a Grateful Dead concert. My ex-female roommate liked to sneak into my room and sniff my dirty boxers. I know this because I set up a camera after I noticed things were moved around. Needless to say, awkward sex happened afterwards. But doesn't matter. Add 6. One of my friends lived in an abusive home and his father only divorced the abusive mother after years of this going on. He has no idea I know. I only found out through his stepbrother when I asked why the parents divorced. If he knew I knew we probably wouldn't be friends. He'd think it's a pity relationship. One of my friends has leukemia. Can't tell him I know due to the fact that he hates pity friendships or pity in general. This would most likely end our friendship. One of my closest friends has a huge cross-dressing fetish. My mom, before meeting my stepdad and after divorcing my dad, ducked a lot of random people on the internet. She also doesn't think I know about all the constant nudes and cyberin etc. Kind of a dead giveaway when a duck buddy stays the night. Mom, I actually resented her for a long time because of it, and I'm still really weirded out and upset by it. I also know she smokes cigarettes, and I'm sure she partakes in an occasional joint. I also know she thinks I'm going to be an absolute nothing, just like my dad, and I will ever amount to anything. A friend co-worker of mine likes his GF to peg him. Normally I couldn't care less what people like in the bedroom, but this guy is a huge asshole with serious insecurity issues. Ever since I found out I've been working anal references into casual conversation. Instead of that sucks he'll say well that's a D in the ass. You can see his struggle not to react visibly on his face. It's gold. My friend performs secret rituals that involve killing chickens in his backyard. I know that my boss lurks on Reddit, knows my username, and occasionally looks at what I post. Every few months or so he'll bring up something I posted a while ago in conversation. The dad of a guy at my job won mega for like $34 million. It's not that big a deal given that it's not actually him, but everyone thinks his dad probably gave him a cool million or two. Although you wouldn't know by looking at him. Okay, this subreddit needs to be serious by default. The humor has degraded so much it's no longer worth it. I used to watch people's houses and work in them, and one night the power went out in one of their houses. I was searching for a flashlight so I could see. While reaching through a drawer in the parents' bathroom thinking one would be there, I found a 10 inches vibrator and turned it on by accident thinking the button on the bottom was the switch for the light. It started vibrating and I dropped it out of sheer fear. Weirdest night of my life. Edit. 10 inches not 10 feet, very big mistake. I was doghouse sitting for my cousin and his wife who are super religious right-wing type people. One day the dog was tugging on something under their bed and I yelled for the dog and he ran out with a giant red dildo. So I freaked and picked it up with a paper towel and went to find out where he got it from, and I found a big box full of weird bondage gear, ball gags, whips, wigs, more vibrators, tons of kinky it. Just goes to show you never know what goes on behind closed doors. My friend's brother watches lizard porn.